You're listening to the Major Pod Network, the only place where your favorite toy store, card shop, arcade, theme park, and arena are all on the same block. Scratch that major itch.
Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley telling you to listen to Game Marks Pod if you want your day to be nice. Yeah!
Welcome to the Game Marks Podcast, presented by the Major Pod Network. I'm the man they call Johnny Clash.
And I am Mr. Anything is Feasible, George Feis, and today we're doing it, guys. We are breaking down the video game history of Mick Foley. Which one? Oh, really? You're going to make me say this?
Yep.
Which ones are going to be a bang bang? And which ones are we going to send to have a nice day?
Don't you love when I write the notes? And please subscribe and leave a 5-star review for this podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and follow us on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. And don't forget, you can get this episode early and ad-free at patreon.com/GameMarksPod. George, I feel like I haven't seen you, talked to you in so long. It's been weeks. It was a nice little holiday break. I hope everyone enjoyed SmackDown Here Comes the Pain with Bear Bronson and ECW Hardcore Revolution with Danny Doring and CPA. I listened back. I very much enjoyed those. How do I sound? I'm on a new microphone here.
New mic?
Year,
Look at this.
New me.
New year, new John.
You got a shaved head? You're really playing up Commissioner Mick Foley here just for this episode this week?
Gotta fit the part, man. I got to get in the character here. I mean, the man opened the show, for God's sakes. Like, I got to be ready for this.
That's right. And I am very excited. Let's recap. It's hard to even think back to our last episode, not because it took so long to get here because the holiday break, but because we got absolutely obliterated by
that episode.
The Game Marks themselves, because you guys all controlled the show. You guys all joined us on Twitch. You donated to Gameberry, which caused me to hug the toilet after the show was over. I don't think you had a good next day either.
I wasn't quite hugging the toilet, but I almost feel like I probably would have felt better if I did. But here we are. It was all for a good, like you said, all for a good reason, all for a good charity. The thing. I can't. The words.
So right after we ended the show, me and George went into Boozing with the Toys on the Major Pods Patreon Facebook channel. And right after that, I remember just sitting in the shower like, I have to either do it now or it's going to be in the middle of the night. And as soon as I went to the toilet, game over. It was just game over, Marks. It was
you pointed to the sign in yourself?
Pointing through the room like, do the thing. John, do the thing. The next day was the Creative Pro Christmas party. The first thing, Brian comes over to me. He goes, "Are you okay?" That was the most drunk I have ever seen him. I'm like, but it's for charity. So needless to say, the cat party was maybe like 3 beers tops.
I was going to say, took it easy. Yeah.
But we did play Road to WrestleMania X8. It was a nice trip down memory lane to the Game Boy Advance, a series that we played it forever, the entire series.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. That being said about everything that we went through with the last episode, I think we're going to try to do like 4 or 5 of these live episodes a year now, because it's a lot of fun. It's a different kind of episode. Kind of forces me and John to be a little bit more on our toes. Not a ton of editing that can happen on the fly. So be on the lookout, because this year we're going to be doing more of those, because it was a ton of fun. And I guess we're not done singing and talking in a high-pitched voice, so
no,
be on the lookout for that.
But Gameberry technically is officially over by date, but we do have one more thing coming up. But let's talk about where we're at now. We are at $2,025 right now, which listen, we're not where we were last year, but this is still a great number for St. Jude.
Oh, absolutely.
But there's a chance to reach last year because it all leads to Game Marks Mania. This is what, our fifth one?
Fourth year, yeah.
Wow. So we're going to be live on Twitch January 14th at 11 a.m. There is no set end time to this stream. If you donate, we either change the game, we either extend the stream. There's going to be many different options. You can pick the game we play. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be giveaways. And it's just a day to hang out with Johnny and George.
And you know what? Speaking of giveaways, we are running another contest. We just ended the last contest and we're starting another. The winner of the last contest for the Seth Rollins Elite was Manny American Nightmare on Instagram. And now for the next contest, if you want to win an Elite 94 Edge courtesy of our friends at Zavi, all you have to do is leave us a review on Apple Podcast, screenshot it, and send it to us on Twitter at GameMarksPod, and you could win the Elite 94 Edge. John, when are we wrapping this one up?
February 3rd.
All right, so you heard the man. February 3rd is when we will be ending the Apple review contest. And again, all you got to do is send a screenshot to our Twitter at GameMarksPod, and you could win an Elite 94 Edge courtesy of Zavi.
So good, he's going to tell you again.
You want me to do it one more time?
No. George. Holiday season. Usually the time for us to get a new game. You get any new games? You get any new equipment? What you working on anything? What's the deal here?
Snap has dominated most of my time.
Finally entered the Snap.
Yeah.
You finally
it's really
entered. All
good.
right.
It's really good, and I'm mad at how much I like it.
It's so addicting to just sit there and just pick it up and play
it's
it,
great.
Right?
It's
You're like, oh, this
great.
is the last one. Then it's an hour later. You're like, I've been looking at my phone for an hour.
You want to stand up, take a couple seconds, walk away from your desk at work. That's what I do. I go, I can't sit down anymore. I go for a walk. Yeah, go for a walk. Play a round or two of Marvel Snap.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you've done that like 4 or 5 times in the span of a day. You know, it's okay.
That's all right.
It happens.
I said before I'm on a new microphone, but I also got a new little keyboard here that's very nice. And the wife treated me to some new Jazzwares figures. I will say some new Stings and some Young Bucks. So that was.
Do you
cool.
even have room for Stings anymore? Like that
No.
DTOF behind you is very full.
I don't, but we're gonna make room, and it's a 2-pack with Darby, so it would be actually cool to get signed one day. We'll see if that could happen.
All right. Well,
that,
this is it, man. It's the dance. We've been talking about this for months. Are you ready to? I guess we're going to plug into like multiple games today, but we're going to plug in. We're going to put on those nostalgia goggles. We're going to take a trip down memory lane. John, are you ready to take the plunge into the video game history of Mick Foley?
Mommy. Hey, George. You see this light here that says game over that I point to at the end of every single episode, like Ronda Rousey pointing to that WrestleMania sign?
I do.
Do you know where I got it?
Why don't you tell me?
I got it from Zavvi. That's us.zavvi.com, Zavvi, and they literally have everything. I have spent hours on this website looking up Mandalorian, Jurassic Park, Harry Potter, like everything you could imagine. There's Legos, Power Rangers. You could pre-order the new Marvel Legends. It's an insane website that has literally everything pop culture. There's even Batman shoes on here.
I mean, I know for me, a little like adult Zen garden project that I like to do is like the smaller Lego sets, and Zavi has a lot of those Lego sets on there and getting kind of itchy. So if you like all things pop culture, like John said, Disney, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Harry Potter, Nintendo, they're even getting into the wrestling game now.
Oh, yeah.
Zavi is the place for you.
That's right. Use code GameMarks, simply just GameMarks, at checkout, and you can get 10% off.
I'm going to redo my wardrobe. Guys, of course, this video game history of Mick Foley, brought to you by Zavi. And we're going to kick it off here. WWF Warzone.
Okay. So not only do I remember Mankind prominently in this game,
Yeah.
but you also get in Warzone, one of the unique features they had was the little grudge clips, they call them, where when you're in the season mode, in between each match, the wrestlers are clearly on like a green screen, but they have cool
What?
backgrounds
Those
behind
boxes
them.
look so real.
It's either like a factory, looks like the sanctuary from The Walking Dead, or like exploding garbage cans or something. And, you know, they cut out a nice little promo, and it gives you just a little bit extra, little incentive to play. I always thought it was very cool. But we have Mankind here. Original-looking Mankind in the brown gear, the whole brown getup. A little slimmer, we'll say, Mankind. You can think back to his feud with, like, The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels when he was wearing this. But you can also get Dude Love and Cactus Jack in this game. Now, I'm looking here at the Cactus Jack right now. I think it's one of the most impressive versions
so
of Mick
accurate.
Foley. We're right off the bat here in the first game here in, 97? And it's already a very impressive version of Mick Foley. We've said many times, Warzone, Attitude, all of them, the whole skin that they were able to put together as like one seamless piece, it just looks so nice because it was an actual like photo of the person, and they really had to get like the facial shapes down, which they might not have always gotten.
Yeah.
But man, this cactus here is like knocked out of the park, from the boots to the shirt, the face. It is perfect.
See, I think the thing for me that always seemed kind of hard to capture with Mick was mainly the Mankind character, because the combination of the mask and the hair and how that was rendered, it took a long time for that to like be portrayed right, because sometimes he looked like he had clown hair, sometimes he looked like he had this weird like blowout hairdo, like
Yeah.
it took a long time for the hair to get right, and even in some instances, like in more recent times, they really haven't nailed that down. But I'm 100% agreeing with you here. The Cactus Jack for Warzone is just chef's kiss, perfect.
Yeah, and it even had the good like double arm DDT in this game. Like everything was really nice. We shit on this game so much, but Warzone was actually like pretty ahead of its time.
I think we always say though, the face scans in this game were ahead, and even more so the things that they did on the PlayStation version versus the N64 version.
Oh, there's another version though, because let's go down here. If you're watching the video version, which we highly recommend, because each one of these that we're talking about is going to be on the screen here. The Warzone for the Game Boy. Yeah. It doesn't get much worse than this.
Why is he wearing like a wrestling singlet?
So it looks like it, but I think he's just wearing lighter colored pants, and that's the best they could do, so it doesn't look like just a blob. It probably would have got lost within the WWF logo, but yeah, I could see like the face resemblance a little bit. But the rest of it's just not there.
A pixel width of a mask, I guess.
A pixel width. Is that with the pixel bits?
Yeah, that's what happens when a pixel bit grows.
Oh, okay.
It becomes a pixel width.
But okay, now we're going back. Like we said, Warzone. Then comes Attitude. Now you're getting Mankind in his, I guess you could say, more typical getup, where you're wearing the white button-down shirt with the black tie.
Yep.
Mr. Sacco makes his debut in video games as well. Now, rather than have Dude Love and Cactus Jack as separate characters in this game, these are actually just alt costumes for Mankind, where you could get Dude Love and Cactus Jack. So, with that, also comes a Game Boy Color version. Now, I have said so many times how much I hate this game, because as a kid,
arguably
it was,
worse.
Arguably worse, but at least it's in color, so he looks like a person wearing clothes, but it's not the same Mankind as in the console Attitude.
This is it, so it's very weird because he's wearing all of the brown hues that you would expect from the first generation of Mankind, but his actual sprite has the button-down shirt and tie, but it's still all brown. It's very confusing.
Yeah.
A hell of a tan, though. Hell of a tan.
Hell of a tan. One thing we also have to speak of as an alt costume in this game is referee Mick Foley, which was pretty cool because at the time, this is something they were doing a lot on TV. He was known for being a ref in certain matches with the spray painted shirt, and they put it in the game, which is really cool. Now, we also have to point out on Attitude, he's on the cover. So he's making his cover debut, per se, here, where he's with The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, and The Undertaker. It's one of the most iconic covers ever, and Mick is right there as Mankind smack in the middle. But once again, on the cover, WrestleMania 2000, you are also getting Cactus Jack in this game, which you get when you defend the hardcore title 3 times, and you're getting Dude Love, as well as, once again, referee Mick Foley in his spray-painted shirt.
See, this is one of the instances where the mask and the hair combination kind of work. It works given what it is. Well, we're going to talk about one that I think is very bad in a little bit. But for what it is, square polygons.
You can't talk about N64 games like this, especially this series, I guess. I guess you could say the series only because Attitude and Warzone were also on N64.
Yeah.
They're not realistic, and they're not proportionate. They're not just... I don't know. They're not...
Everyone's got wet hair in these games.
That's the least of their problems. Their arms are just not attached to their body. They're not real images, per se, where like everything else in like Attitude and Warzone are real images pasted onto a body. These are more rendered. Like, look at Cactus Jack's shirt. It's not the actual image from his shirt. It's more like scribble scrabble and whatever.
It's like the when someone tried to fix that painting a couple years ago. Like, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. But now we also have a Game Boy Color version where Mick is one of 3 with The Rock and the Big Show on the cover. Now, the Big Show, unfortunately, left off of No Mercy, as we know, so he will not be on that cover with Mick also. But this Mick, they just can't get him to wear clothes, because this one, he's wearing the white shirt, but since it's a Game Boy Color game, it's more beige, so it just looks like he doesn't have a top and like a fold over, but it's really the shirt hanging.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't...
It
makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it looks more like Mankind than the others Game Boy games go, I guess.
I don't know. I almost think I might prefer the Warzone version to this.
Really?
I mean...
It's a fine line. It's a fine line. There's only so much you can get on that like 1.5 inch screen.
Yeah.
So right. Now we go to another game that Mankind is on the cover for, and that's WWF SmackDown. I can just remember playing this as a kid. He was one of your favorites. You had Mr. Sacco. He just pulled it out. He just pulled it out of his pants. I'll go ahead. I'll say it. Now, the worst part. I said it when we covered the game. I'll say it again. The entrances through the damn entrance video screen, where it's just the entrance video playing behind you. I hate it. I don't want it. Fortunately for us, Mankind had one of the cooler videos, so it was fun to see.
I hate the hair in this game. This is the game that I was mentioning before. Just the worst hair. It's just it. He's got like a blowout here. Like, it just is too much.
Somehow it regressed from like Attitude and Warzone.
But like the streaking in the hair is accurate, because when Mick had his longer hair, he did have like some lighter brown highlights. So like that aspect works, or it's like a lighting effect. Yeah, the texture's fine. It's just the mapping of the actual...
I felt like a lot of PlayStation games from this era, from this game, this series, up until, 2020, 2K20 had it, sorry. The hair sometimes just looks like tree branches. Like, just stiff, and like
That's very
the leaves
accurate.
are together, like one of those crappy trees that just grows.
That is very accurate.
we all have them in our backyard, and they just have the crappy little leaves that get everywhere, and that's what like hair was. It was flat and pointy, and this is like the definition of it. So not one of the best, but at the same time visually cool because the mask looks really good, and I think the smiley face tie looks really good, and Mr. Sacco was cool. Everything was cool, I think, but the hair.
Yeah, and then we go back a little bit with Royal Rumble, which we've talked about how much we love this game in the past. Shout out to Clash's former tag partner Liam Davis for loving this game so much. But it is what it is. It's not the best. It's not the
SmackDown.
It's middle of the road. There are ones that are far better. There are ones that are far worse, and going back to the sheen and the texture of the hair, this goes above and beyond, and he's got really, really light brown hair here. And
George is a stylist now.
I would say it almost looks like he's in like a I don't know. Give me a shampoo. A Pantene Pro V L'Oreal shampoo.
It looks good.
What's the commercial that was really popular when we were kids? Herbal essences.
Oh, okay. Sure. I think it's honestly a carbon copy of the SmackDown Mankind. Just maybe like a few tweaks for the Dreamcast because it's so similar. The way the tie lays and everything.
It's SmackDown, but less.
But, yeah, way less. Now, if you hate hair, Mick Foley decided to chop it up on SmackDown 2, Know Your Role, because Commissioner Foley makes his debut, still with those really bad entrance videos behind them, but at least you're getting different ones now because Mick is here as Mick Foley. He's the commissioner. He's got a shaved head, looks like George. He's wearing the flannel vest with the WWF shirt, which he was very known to wear on TV with the sweatpants. But you also get Cactus Jack, because you can't forget about Cactus Jack in these games. And I think, I know for me, Cactus Jack, I think, is my favorite face of Mick Foley.
Same.
I love playing with him in video games. I like his moveset, just watching his matches. He had
for me,
with like
that
Sting
entrance
and Vader.
theme. That entrance theme got me every time. I was just like, how do you not get amped up when you hear this theme song?
Plus, he just looks really cool. Like the flannel with the wanted
Truth or
shirt.
Consequence.
Yeah.
Presentation. Everything about it was great.
The hair is just very boxy, like we said, because it's PlayStation, so it's not ideal. And when you get to Mankind and SmackDown 2, it's once again a copy and paste from SmackDown 1. There's no improvements. And like we said when we covered this game, 2 years ago at this point?
Yeah, something
These
like that.
games came out less than a year apart, so pretty much SmackDown 2, I feel like, is what SmackDown 1 should have been. They just didn't want to wait, and they put out a game with what they had. So they took all the assets they could. Whatever they didn't have to change, they didn't. And here, Mankind is staying the same. Still a really nice mask. Still the tie and everything.
I think there's less detail on the tie. I think you could actually see the smiley faces in SmackDown 1, and then you can in SmackDown 2, but
yeah, it's possible they dumped it down a bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Shrink a texture here to make better features elsewhere.
Yeah. Now, WWF No Mercy, a game we've both played extensively, and we both also have used Mick and all of his faces in GMP64.
I've never played this game. I don't know what you're talking about.
Shut up. We've used every face of Foley a lot, so we're very familiar with his moveset, with him in general. It's a big downgrade from WrestleMania 2000, and I've said it before, I think No Mercy always looks better than WrestleMania 2000 in a lot of things, but for Mankind, for Cactus, for Mick, there's even a Dude Love attire in here. It's not great. The hair looks weird. The face is a little pushed in and sunken. There's no depth to it. Plus, I know he's a bigger guy. They made him just a blob in this game. Yeah,
they did him dirty. If Attitude or if Warzone made him too small, No Mercy made him too big.
And when he was in the whole Cactus Jack get up and all that, he never looked huge. He looked like a cool wrestler. He didn't look like a big fat guy. And that's kind of what they made him look like.
They did him dirty in some of these games.
Right. But when you're getting these characters, Mick Foley, It's pretty much just Cactus Jack. He's just wearing like a green vest instead of a red vest. Mankind is a less detailed version of Mankind. The tie is just black. You're not getting the smiley faces or anything cool. The same moveset goes kind of throughout all of them with the mandible claw with Mr. Sacco.
Which always drove me nuts because Cactus Jack, double arm DDT.
It's just a basic move, right?
Or the pile driver, yeah. Like when I think of Cactus Jack, the last move that I think of is the mandible claw. It's either the pile driver or the double arm DDT. Like it was always some combination, like depending on where they were. Like if he was putting someone through a table, it was always the pile driver. If he was doing it on top of something, it was always the pile driver. But if he was just like in the ring, it was always the double arm DDT. And even to this day,
it makes you think.
It drives me nuts.
It makes you think because like this was the time where Cactus Jack came back to TV in 2000, WrestleMania 2000 and all that.
Yep.
With the McMahon in each corner and that whole storyline, which is actually in this game. It's a very prominent role, whether you pick him or not. It's in this game. But It makes you think like if he was supposed to be in here from the start and they just kind of threw his like a skin over Mankind and just said, okay, now you get Cactus Jack also with here's some music.
Well, so refresh my memory. You get the assets to make original Mankind. It's not programmed to be one of his costumes. You have to make it. There's you can unlock the parts in SmackDown Hotel. Cactus Jack is unlocked through survival mode or the SmackDown Mall, and Dude Love you have to make.
Yeah, Dude Love is just a costume.
Yeah,
but it's also
and then Mick is also an unlockable in survival as well.
Yep, Commissioner Mick, which is weird. Like you would think Dude Love would be the unlockable, and I don't know. It's a lot of lot of roster space for one person.
Yeah, I just feel like they should have done one of each. Like there's 4 attire slots. There should be 4. The 4 faces. It's Mick, Mankind, Dude Love, Cactus Jack.
Maybe that's because of the championship mode. Because you're using all those characters within. Yeah. Maybe that's why. That makes sense. Because sometimes, you change the outfits, you might not get the same result.
Things get changed around. Yeah. All right.
That might be
You applied logic to something that neither one of us truly have any real knowledge about as to the reasonings of why things were programmed the way that they were, but that sounds like a pretty good explanation.
Okay, are you ready for my least favorite of this entire breakdown?
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Here we have WWF SmackDown. Just Bring It. I guess this is Mick Foley on the outs? Because
there's only one that I think is arguably worse than this one, but we haven't got to it yet.
So there's a lot of times we're going to say, Mick Foley, this is his last game for a while, because as you know, his career, it's very start-stop with WWE, with TNA, with everywhere he went. It was a few years off, a few years no relationship, a few years he's back, he's a legend. It goes on and on. So here at Just Bring It, you're only getting Mick Foley, which is not any other face. No Mankind, no Cactus Jack, no Dude Love. He's just wearing a blue shirt with the flannel. His face is very weirdly textured. His hair is all over the place. I don't know if this was just, hey, let's just throw him in here. If this was a pity, we got to get some representation of him. We know he's leaving.
It almost looks like they just went, hey, you know how we've shown that video of him jumping off the roof of the house? What if it was that version of Mick Foley? What if it was Mick Foley imitating Jimmy Snuka jumping off the roof of the house? That's the face texture that's on here. This is like baby Mick Foley in this game.
And that's crazy because this is his PS2 debut and you would think otherwise.
Yeah.
But I guess you don't know your limits yet. Now, he is not in Shut Your Mouth. He is not in Here Comes the Pain.
Nope.
But he makes his return in SmackDown vs. Raw, where you could unlock Mankind as a legend. Now, when you look at him, it's pretty much the old one we used to love from the SmackDown series. The white shirt, the tie with the smiley faces on it, but the hair is just now made of straw.
I'll say this is the sticks. This is the twig hair that you were talking about before. I don't know why he suddenly became part scarecrow, but straw hair is the most accurate way to describe this one.
But also, for how far... same console. Think of how far between Just Bring It and SmackDown vs. Raw. They don't even seem like they're on the same console. They seem so far apart. They're not. It's only a couple of years.
Yeah.
But what they could have done with Mankind, it's just not there. I think the face, you could tell behind the mask, is like very poorly detailed. And like
it doesn't really look like him.
No, it looks like somebody as him. It looks like the guy who played him on like that 70s show or something. That didn't happen, but like it looks like that's what it should be.
Yeah, this is the Mankind character from the Rock show.
Right. Oh, Young Rock?
Yeah.
Oh, man. You know? You know? You might be on...
You know?
The Game Marks podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming, providing precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. The Performance Package 4.0 has arrived, and oh man, is it a game changer.
It's the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. The Performance Package 4.0 comes with the Lawnmower 4.0, body hair trimmer, the Weed Whacker, ear and nose hair trimmer, below the belt toner and deodorant, performance boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all your goodies.
It's definitely holding all my goodies, if you know what I mean. Over 7 million men worldwide trust Manscaped with their grooming needs, and we've got an exclusive offer for all of the Game Marks out there. You can get 20% off your order and free worldwide shipping just by using the code GameMarks at manscaped.com.
Unlock your confidence and always use the right tool for the job with Manscaped. Manscaped.com and use code GameMarks.
All right. One of my favorite games, and I'm not going to lie.
WrestleMania.
I'm not going to lie. WrestleMania 21, Mankind looks pretty cool. He's a legend. He's unlockable.
I love the open shirt with the
open shirt.
The happy face Mankind shirt on. I love that.
Happy face with the matching tie. But here you go, George. It's been the theme of the night so far. I think his hair looks great.
Yeah.
I think this looks as Mankind can get.
This one, and I arguably will say probably the next two or three, really kind of nail the hair for all the faces of Foley. It is wild, but not comical, if that makes sense. Like, yeah, it looks like the wavy, curly, like wet hair that you're used to seeing Mankind have, but it's not comical to where it looks like it's like clown hair or straw, like the last one. It looks like accurate hair.
And while we pooped on this game a lot when we played it, I played it in real time when it came out.
How it looks versus how it plays is very different things.
It looks so cool. It's such a good looking game. I Have a Nice Day, little Titantron in the back, everything.
What's the equivalent? What's the video game equivalent of "And Then the Bell Rang"?
This game.
But like, what do you say? It's like, and then the match started, and then I picked up the controller. Like, everything looked great, and then I picked up the controller.
And then the bell rang, and then you were somehow fighting in the crowd with the ropes attached to your... Yeah, it was weird. But okay. Another great game series where Mankind is represented properly is Day of Reckoning 2. That they finally added a bunch of legends to this game, Mankind being one, which is weird because you're not getting him in WrestleMania 18, 19, or Day of Reckoning. So when he finally goes to the GameCube, it's like almost foreign because like you're not used to seeing him there. But he's there.
Yeah.
And he looks great. The classic Mick, the same thing. They definitely had a theme because I noticed also while every white shirt is here with the same smiley face tie, they all have like a little black shirt poking out from behind the button down also. So I think there's some
in my head I want to think that everyone has the the smiley face mask shirt underneath.
It had to be like a studio shot or something. I don't know.
I guess.
I'm gonna look up WWF Mankind 2000 8x10. Oh yeah. He's
Got shirt underneath?
some of them. Oh, this one he's got a dude shirt underneath. That's cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when he won the WWF title and they have pictures of that, he's got a black shirt underneath. So that must have been what they won off of, which was an
Got it.
iconic moment. So I'll accept it.
Oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense.
Because you're getting the same exact Mankind now in SmackDown vs. Raw 2006.
Again,
He's
hair.
Also a legend.
Okay.
So you're not getting... Is there anything in between here? The SmackDown vs. Raw... No, these are all pretty much the same time. And now SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. And I think it's good because you now have like hardcore stuff you could do within SmackDown vs. Raw. And, you got Mick Foley with the nice hardcore championship belt in the game. Whether you put it on him, whether you want him
Which
to
it looks
feud
really
with someone.
big. Is that me? Is that just me?
No, this was the era where they just wrapped the belt around the widest part of the person.
Okay, I was saying like this. The center plate looks gigantic.
Yeah, I always hated that, but I guess it makes sense in real life. Like it would wrap around your body, but it wouldn't get bigger. You either hold it if you're too big to put the belt on.
All right, well, as long as it's not just me.
Well, SmackDown vs. Raw 2007, you're getting the exact same belt, but you're getting now Mick Foley.
I like this, Mick. I think they did a good job. It's got and this is something I feel like you don't. Let me scroll up really quick here to see other versions of Cactus Jack and Mick Foley here. Yeah, see, for this, a detail that I like is that he's got the goatee and the 5 o'clock shadow, like the scruff, where it doesn't look like it's the full beard. Like they've tried to do this in other games, but it just looks like he has a full beard. But this is very accurate for the time, where it's like, Mick has the goatee, Mick has the 5 o'clock shadow. He's got the
George, confirmed 5 o'clock shadow guy.
there's a little details, man. Mick Foley has had a lot of looks throughout his career, but he's always had some form of facial hair.
Yeah, that's true. Now, this one we're seeing here in SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 is the depiction of WrestleMania 22, which was one of the greatest moments. The flaming table and all that.
Yep.
It was fantastic. It's one of them, I think he said it on podcasts and such before, one of his favorite moments ever, and one of my favorite moments from a WrestleMania ever. That was like just prime time to me of like watching WrestleMania and watching wrestling. Was that like 2004 to like 2007 era. Like really when you're getting invested and like you understand everything that's happening, like the storylines and everything, and you're in. So this is cool that you're getting that Mick Foley in this game. But you're also getting Legends Mankind, you're getting Legends Cactus Jack, and Dude Love makes his return to the video games. And I think, for the most part, Mankind's cool. Like the tie now, it sways, it moves because we're getting advanced in our PS2 stage. Cactus could use some work, which is weird because you could just use the Mick Foley model. But Cactus seems just like very lanky, and I don't know. There's just something off about it. Or Dude Love's cool. He's got they tried to like young his face up, but I think
that's the thing I never understood.
It
Like,
made it a little weird.
let the man be how old he is. Like, I understand you want to try to capture him at like the peak, but like make the details of his face age appropriate for like the run that you're trying to capture.
Well, I think that's what they're doing.
I don't know.
This was an issue they had in 2K20, and I think even on some action figures now when you get scanned, they're going with like older faces on newer faces, like current faces on older stuff. And it just makes it look a little weird. because you're using like AI, and now we're looking at 2000. What is this? 2006. This comes out, and the AI is just not there yet. Just not there.
I mean, it may not even be there now.
It might not be there. I don't know.
It still may not be there.
Okay.
All right. Up
Here's
next,
a cool one. This is so cool.
on like 100 different levels, this is a cool one.
Yeah. So we have SmackDown versus Raw 2008 featuring ECW. But you're actually getting like the ECW set and all that. So seeing
sick.
Mick Foley come out of the set. You're only getting Mick. You're not getting Mankind, Dude Love, or Cactus. Only Mick this time. It looks incredible. He's got the smiley face Mankind shirt. He's got the flannel. He's got the shorter hair that he had at this time. But I think what makes it is honestly the ECW set that we're looking at it right now. The fact that you could even do that.
So great. This game is up there on a lot of people's list as the best in the series. I know that everyone always says 06, right?
Yeah, around 06. This one's up there.
It's like the one that everyone's always like, this is where it peaks. But like 08, I feel like is also always up there in the conversation. And it's honestly, I think it's because of little details like this that you get where like you get the ECW arena, you get the ability to put people in, spots and places that either you didn't get to see and you get to recreate these things, or you just want to have like fantasy style matches and book these things. Like it's cool. It's a cool feature of the game. The game itself, I can't wait till we get there because we haven't done this one yet.
I don't think we have. We've played so many that I just don't even know.
I'm gonna look right now.
This was one of the cooler storylines, though. It was like an ECW invasion and all that with RVD, and it was a lot of fun.
We did 06 and 09.
All right, so I guess we know what's coming soon.
Oh, yeah.
But now there's a little jump because we're in 2007 right now with SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. We're going to 2010 because Mick is no longer in the WWE. He is now with TNA. But he missed the cool TNA game. He's not in TNA Impact. He's not in the mobile games. He is in TNA Impact Cross the Line, but only the DS version.
I gotta tell you, I think this is the version I was saying that I think might be my least favorite version.
So, I believe.
Have you ever wondered what Mick Foley would look like if his body type was an upside down triangle?
It's not.
That's what this is.
That's what it is. But this game was only for the PSP and the DS. It's trying to be.
It's Hogan's body.
It's Hogan's body. He's wearing skinny jeans. He's got his shirt tucked in, I think. It's just... It looks like one of those... The TNA had them. You know those minifigures?
Yes.
They're like 1 inch. It looks like one of those.
The hair and the face, surprisingly, not bad.
Not bad, but like when you're looking at it as a whole, that's not what you're looking at, especially on the DS
no, I know.
and the
But
PSP.
I was giving it a little silver lining here is that, the face and the hair aren't terrible, but the body is just, what did they do to Mick?
I don't know. I would think that he would be in Impact, the mobile game, but he's not. The one we covered. Which I couldn't imagine him looking any better in that one because of how everyone looked in that game. But now, the next year, he is back. He is in WWE 12. This is the first one of the new series of 12 and 13 that only lasted for 2 games. But he's here as DLC, as Mick Foley himself. He's looking a lot like the 08 character, where he's got the Mankind shirt underneath the flannel. He's got the bang bang. And I think it looks pretty great. This was one of the better games to come out. So I think it's very memorable, and I like it.
Yeah. And then right after that, you've got WWE 13, where you got Mankind, you've got Dude Love, and you've got Cactus Jack, and
They had to be in this one. It's centered around the Attitude Era.
I have some complaints, but it's mainly around Dude Love's hair.
And you and your hair today.
I don't know. I don't know what it is about that. Well, because you know what it is? I'll tell you right now. It's very hard to mess up any of Mick's attire. you're either getting the white shirt with the tie-dye with Dude Love, or the flannel and the Cactus Jack shirt. And honestly, the main detail that I'm looking for with Cactus is the boots.
Yeah, and they're always kind of there.
For the most part, they've been very accurate to the skin boots, but there are some that have not had, and I think, let me zoom in here. Yeah, I can't tell. I don't think that they are in 13.
I think they are. I think they're like the outlined ones with the black front. This game, it's very prominent Attitude Era, like we said. So they're in here. Storylines. There, you could replay the matches. There's DLC where you could play even more matches, and they're all once again have their own moveset, which we love so much. You want a mandible claw? You're Mankind. You want the double arm DDT? You're Cactus Jack. It's great. I like it. One of our favorites. Do you remember around this time they really like zoned in on the Attitude Era? Like, you never heard it called the Attitude Era like on TV or anything, but now they doubled down. Like, it's in the video game.
Yeah.
They released that Blu-ray that I think I have sitting right here. It just broke down your whole childhood, and it was kind of great. Like, they finally like recognized all of that had happened.
I think that's why so many people love 13 is because of that, that nostalgia factor of one. Now it's a nostalgia factor for the gameplay of 13, but also at the time, the nostalgia factor of going back and like reliving so much of the Attitude Era. And in a couple years, you're going to kind of get like part 2 of that in a sense, a little bit. But going back to what I was saying about the boots, I looked at a different screenshot, and yes, you are right. The textured boots are there in 13. I think moving from WWE 13 to 2K14 is actually a step down on like details on the face wise, but a huge step up in everything else, like the textures of the clothing, the match types, the overall aesthetic of how they like things were presented is great. I think as a whole, though, the face textures of the whole game could be better.
Okay, I agree. But I think what I'm looking at here is the WrestleMania, 30 years of WrestleMania mode that was included in here. And for Mick, this was a pretty big deal because you're getting the WrestleMania main event, which was Triple H versus The Rock versus Big Show versus Mick Foley, not Mankind, just Mick. And you're also getting the Edge match we spoke about earlier with Lita, where you go through the flaming table. And that's one of the moments you could do in here, and it was so cool.
It's awesome. So good. That's what I was saying. Like, the experience and the world that you play through in 14 is phenomenal. There's just a few things that are misses, but overall the game is great.
Yeah. But we're going to skip 2K15 because he's not in it. We're going to go to 2K16 because they needed him back, because this whole game is centered around Stone Cold Steve Austin. And you're not going to have Stone Cold Steve Austin without Mick Foley. You're just not. So you are getting quite a few matches here. I love the Dude Love, mainly because they play the Steve-O. Looks like could use some help, my man. I spared no
love
expense.
That was so good.
You're getting Stone Cold versus Dude Love from Unforgiven. You're getting Stone Cold versus Dude Love from Over the Edge with the special ref match. You're getting Mick Foley as Mankind as the referee in here.
And what's the Cactus?
Cactus is just in here.
Oh, okay. There's no.
I think the Cactus, he's got that the 5 o'clock shadow you like, but just the attention to detail here on like the PS3 and stuff, just spot on.
This is like a whole other level of
it's the new era
quality.
It's the new era, George, and we love it. 2K17. Now, they made a Mankind model here, and it's different than the others, which is awesome. We're finally getting something unique here in 2K17. He's got just a black tie. He's got the little button or sticker, whatever that is. He's got the hunch when he walks. I think they're finally nailing all of this. Dude Love is in here with another kind of different but the same approach. Like the tattoo looks a little better. The details on the gear looks a little better. The strut, the walk, even Cactus's bang bang and all that looks way better. I think 17 finally hit its stride. But
I think once you get the texture on wrist tape, you know that we have entered a different level of of gameplay here in terms of the presentations of the graphics and faces and stuff like that.
I think so too. But now this one got me a little excited. You're getting 1992 Cactus Jack as DLC from WCW, and this one just went so well with Sting. So that's why I wanted it.
And this is this shirt, man. This is the era of them having the texture or the physics on the little tassels tied up parts of the shirts. I remember expecting it because they had a shirt like that in No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000, and it was just plastered onto your arm. Like what if it was there, it was just plastered onto your arm. But there's it moves in this, and I just remember the first time they put physics on that of all the things to make move. That's what they okay. All right. I guess
we're here for
like
it.
you said before, we're in the next generation of gaming here.
Now, when we go to 2K18 now, it's literally exactly everything we just said from 2K17 copied over. The same Mankind, the same Dude Love, the same 92 Cactus Jack, and the same 98 Cactus Jack from the last game. So there's really nothing to say here. It's all exact. We love it all. The more 92 WCW Cactus Jack, the better. I'm all here for it. It's one of my favorite people to go back and watch matches of. It's not here. It's probably in my basement in a box. The great Mick Foley's Greatest Hits or Misses, I think it was called, the DVD. It was
oh yeah,
DVD set.
I had that too. I don't know if I have that still.
Do you know how many days I just sat in front of the TV and just watched every match just through? And that was my whole day. The Vader and Sting and just the WCW classics and old school WWF stuff. My God, that's what this 92 Cactus reminds me of. It was so cool.
Did Stone Cold... What was the first Stone Cold one? Was it called That's the Bottom Line?
Probably. They weren't very unique back in the day.
I just remember there was one, and through the credits, it just said that Stone Cold did everything, and at one of the points, it was hair and makeup, and it just said, "I'm bald, jackass."
That's awesome.
Between the Foley set, Foley's book, and that Stone Cold tape, it was just the cycle. I would do one or the other at all points. It was just on repeat all the time.
So I never had Mick Foley's books until recently. My brother-in-law was selling them at our garage sale, and I purchased them from him because they were signed. And I was like, "You're not selling this to someone who won't appreciate it. I'm buying them from you," and I bought them from him.
Signed? That's awesome.
Yeah, so I bought them. And I remember in 7th grade, a friend of the show, TK Wild, he comes into science class saying, "Hey, I just got to school. My mom let me come in late because I got this signed." And it was Mick Foley's first book. I remember it was a small paperback. And I remember our science teacher just grabbing it and saying, "You missed school for this? This guy's nuts. You're going to idolize this guy?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course we are. But it was very cool. So hopefully I'll read that book one day and not smudge the signature. Now here we go.
I think it's probably dried by now.
2K19, there's no Mick Foley. But 2K20, he's back. And you're only getting Mankind in here. But this is the best part. You are getting the Rock and Sock Connection jacket with Mankind. And I think that is just super cool.
But why did it have to be in 2K20?
Right. Was there I blocked it completely out of my brain. Was there a showcase mode in 2K20? It was the women.
It was Roman and you got Roman's Tower,
the women's,
and then the women's evolution.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just something new they put on Mick. I think it's cool. I like it. I guess if you're gonna,
I wish it was in more things.
well, it's the deluxe edition of 2K20. That's the only way to get it. So I think maybe it's just a little extra. You're gonna add his famous jacket. I have no problem with that. All right, we're winding down here. You think there's a lot of mobile games coming up?
Oh.
WWE 2K Battlegrounds. You are getting as DLC. You're getting Cactus Jack, which is just a cool little. Everyone knows
Hasbro Cactus Jack.
Hasbro Cactus Jack. Like that's what Battlegrounds look like. Just little Hasbro guys. They're small. They're accentuated. And when you think of like the hokey games like this, Cactus fits right in with that. The fact
I'm
that you
surprised
could,
that Cactus wasn't in All Stars.
All Stars was not the time he was there, because there's another one he's clearly missing from that I'm going to mention in a little bit. There's actually a few I think he should have been in or couldn't have been in that he would have found a nice place in. So you're getting Cactus, but you're also getting Mankind in here, and it kind of looks like Mankind's retro figure.
Does the retro have Mr. Sacco on it?
No, it has the first thing he used to wear, the little like finger thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which, we all prefer Mr. Sacco, but it kind of looks like this. They look like little kids.
They do.
Little kid dressed as Mankind. It's pretty funny. But it's cool to see.
It's the weirdest Halloween at school ever. Everyone's dressed as a wrestler. That's what Battlegrounds is.
All right. WWE Champions, a game we covered not too long ago. There are 6 versions of Mick Foley in here. You're getting the Hardcore Legend. It says Jack's back. It's a really cool card of Cactus Jack. It's purple. You are getting, what does this one say? I think it might say Many Faces of Mick Foley, but it's like colored, so you could hardly read it.
Yeah, I can't see what that says.
But regardless, it's a cool card. It's got a lot of colors. It says Mankind. You have a generic Mankind with Mr. Sacco. You have the deranged Mankind in his old school attire where he's like way more jacked than he ever should be. There's Happiest Cat in the Land Dude Love card, which I love. And it came from the Boiler Room Mankind card, which he's in like a straitjacket. Now, when I was younger, I don't know how or where I got this. I had an Undertaker comic book. And Mankind was the bad guy in the comic book, and this is the Mankind that was there. Like, he was in a straitjacket. You saw him, like, in a prison, like, padded cell, and it was so cool. I think it was, like, one of those 5-page comics that was, like, to be continued.
Yeah, it was like back in the day when you would buy, like, WWF magazine, and it was wrapped into plastic, and it was, like, a small little comic.
Could have been. Actually, yeah, very much could have been. I actually ordered a Sting figure last week that was mint in the package, and it came with this. It's an Avengers comic. It was rolled up in there, so it's very, like, folded. But, look, it's got Foxbox on the back. It's really cool because, like, the Avengers were nowhere near as popular as they are now back then.
That is pretty sick.
Got like Gambit and stuff in it. It's pretty cool. Vision. Yeah.
One day we're gonna have to talk about favorite X-Men.
I don't like the X-Men, so I don't know. Now,
that's a hot take.
WWE Supercard. It was always Cyclops. There are way too many cards to name for WWE Supercard. If you really want to go look at them, go to SmackDown Hotel and look them up. Let's break
it down this way. There's every face of Foley. There's Mick Foley, Cactus, Dude Love, Commissioner, and Santa Claus Mick Foley.
And this is only the active ones that I'm showing here, George. These aren't even the ones that are no longer active. This is just the current season. So if you want to see the Mick Foley cards, head on over to SmackDown Hotel. They have everything there, which I got to give a shout out to SmackDown Hotel anyway, because that's where I got majority of the info for today's episode.
That's an interview I want to get. That's on my interview list for 2023. Person who runs SmackDown Hotel.
Oh, it would be so cool. But okay, WWE Mayhem. Another mobile game. We have not covered this one yet. I have never played this one. You got Mankind with Mr. Sacco in tow. He looks pretty cool. Also looks like a child in a Mankind costume. And
Yes.
you also get old school Mick Foley in his Mankind, in his brown jumper, whatever you want to call it. Also looks cool. Mr. Sacco's there. We know Mr. Sacco was not there at that time, but it's a cool little mashup. And the final one.
Oh man, I can't
Right
believe
now.
we're here already.
WWE 2K22, you can get Cactus Jack as DLC, and I think it's one of the better looking Cactus Jacks. The teeth are missing. The hair, I think, is perfect, George. I don't know about you. The shirt looks cool. The bang bang, everything's good.
It's good. I got to tell you, the level of detail. So, if you're watching this, you're watching the video version. When you are finished, I would like you to come back to this timestamp, and then I would like you to click back to the first version of Mick Foley, and then just
how far
see
we've come.
how far we've come from Warzone Mankind or Warzone Cactus Jack to 2K22 Cactus Jack.
Don't worry about the timestamp. I'll put a graphic in right here.
Unbelievable. What a journey for this character model.
Now let's talk about this for a second. Games he's missing from. Now I think he would have been a perfect fit for In Your House.
Yeah.
How they had the sets where you could go through like the different characters' backgrounds. It's like a little bit too late for him. Like he's just breaking in at this point. So you're not going to get him in Your House, but it would have been so cool to have like an asylum or something with the things that he could like throw at you and whatnot. It would have been perfect. Now the games he's notably missing from, that he was either not under WWE contract or for some reason he's not there. All Stars, like you said, it would have been really cool to have his depiction in there. Legends of WrestleMania he is missing from.
Huh.
For some reason 2K19 he's not there. But here's one that maybe he somehow could have snuck his way into. I get licensing and all that, but Legends of Wrestling, the whole series.
Oh, yeah. He's not in any of those.
No, they're very like WCW, ECW heavy because of like the licensing and all that, but I feel like he would have been a perfect fit for at least Showdown. I get it. There's many reasons why that probably didn't happen, but it would have been cool.
Huh. I still think In Your House and All Stars are the ones that I'm like, wow. This would have been.
Well, let's see. WF debut Mankind. He debuted in 96 and In Your House came out in 96, so I get it. I wish there was a third game in that series of WrestleMania, the arcade game, and In Your House. It would have been cool. I'm sure he would have been an absolute shoo-in for it.
Yeah, that would have been. Could you imagine? Boiler Room.
I'm still
him
hoping
and
for one,
Goldust.
a modern day one.
Yeah. Goldust is in Your House or Mania Arcade?
In Your House.
In Your House, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, still would have been awesome. Maybe we would have gotten like green Goldust that we get in Warzone. That's an interesting breakdown we could do because he's in some older WCW games too.
Oh, God. That's a lot. Is he in any WC? Oh, I think he's in as the Natural in Super Bowl, right?
Yep, he is. He's, I think, who I chose to play as. Okay, George.
Ooh.
Your least favorite and your favorite version. I want them.
Oh, man, this is tough. I don't know if I should go with the TNA as my least favorite or if I go with the shirtless WrestleMania 2000 version. I think I'm going to go with the weird flesh tone shirt in WrestleMania 2000 for the Game Boy.
Okay.
And I think my favorite version is going to be... Ooh, this is tough. Let's say we're going to go with... where is it? SmackDown vs. Raw 2007.
7? Okay. I'm not far off.
What about you?
I think my favorite one is 2008.
Okay, all right. So we're at least we're a generation apart.
We're similar. We're very similar. I just like that whole ECW get up. But my least favorite is Just Bring It.
Least favorite is Just Bring It.
I would never in a million years just pick T-shirt Mick Foley.
That's true.
You're not
That
getting
is true.
Mankind.
That's
You're
probably
not getting Cactus Jack. It's not cool Mick Foley from later on. They did nothing to make you want to play as him.
Yeah. I think in the 3D world, that's my least favorite one. But in the side-scrolly world, we're going to go with WrestleMania 2000.
The side-scrolly world.
Yeah, we'll go handheld world. Guys, let us know your favorite and least favorite version on all forms of social media at GameMarksPod. And let us know which ones were the best, which ones were the worst. Let us know what you thought about the games he should have been in.
Yeah.
But with that, John, is it time for us to go into the first soft lock of the new year?
Let's go, baby.
All right, so the soft lock is a segment where one of our mega marks from Patreon gives us a topic, and this week the topic comes from Tecker. What is going on, Tecker? Tecker's question is, what are your New Year's video game resolutions? So I guess this would really tie into, like, these are the games that we want to play this year.
I guess, what do you want to do this year with video games?
Well, I mean,
I want to finish The Last of Us 2.
I would say number one for me in regards to video games always this podcast.
True.
What games do I want to play? So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you happen to see a trailer that released, or a teaser?
Which one?
Did you happen to see the new Spider-Man teaser?
No. We reported that it was coming out, but
so there's the Spider-Man teaser.
I've just been watching the Evil Dead Rise teaser over and over again.
The Spider-Man teaser, you see Peter Parker, Miles Morales. You hear a voiceover by Craven. You hear, and then you hear some voice lines from Venom.
Oh, okay. Yes. I did see that.
And then it just ends with 2023.
Yeah.
So that's, if that comes out this year, that is number one on my video games list to play this year.
It is. George, I'm going to burst your bubble. You don't have a PS5.
Not yet.
No, so
it's also going to be on PC though, right?
We're playing it in 2024. I want to finish The Last of Us 2, but also I signed up for the NHL 2K23 World Tournament or whatever it is. I know I'm going to get knocked out, like my shit pushed in the first round, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I've been practicing like a lot. So when you get a new NHL game, it's like riding a bike. You know what you're doing, but there's always like certain things that make it different where they're always going to be better than you. Whether it's the passing or whether it's deking, like someone's always going to figure out something better. So I noticed like my puck possession time was like so much less than the other guy. So I think I was 2-6 at first. I'm like, this is really bad. I might just give up and not play this anymore. I got it to like 6-6. Then it was 6-9. And I was like, this is really bad. I started figuring out how to move the puck a little better, make cleaner passes. I am now at 12-9. I went on like a 6-game run. And I'm getting ready for that championship.
So all right.
I just want to score one goal in the opening round. I'll be happy. That's all I want to do.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For me, shit, man. I got to tell you, there are so many games that are coming out right now, or that have come out that I just have been on my list to play. Diablo 4 is coming out this year.
Ooh, okay.
Very much want to play through that. Would love to play through The Last of Us 1 and 2 again in preparation or alongside the series that starts next week. Right? This comes out on the 9th. Yep. The show starts on the 15th. Yeah, so it comes out this Sunday. So I would love to at least do a watch along or another playthrough of that. And then there's rumors that they're already working on The Last of Us 3.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my God.
I saw that. Looks
So much cool stuff happening in the world of gaming, man. 2023 will be a big year. Also, I wonder what's happening with the WWE release this year.
We haven't heard anything. It's getting a little scary because we're becoming to Royal Rumble
John,
and we don't have what?
We're forgetting a major thing that's going to happen this year.
Harry Potter.
Theoretically,
Hogwarts Legacy.
AEW game should be this year.
That's right. I think we're going to have a lot of fun playing that.
That's going to be something that was probably going to be a multi-episode breakdown of like as we play through it, and then leading up to the full breakdown a year after it comes out.
Yeah,
'cause that's our rule.
It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a good year. I plan on finishing the Star Wars games before the new Jedi game. So,
how are you liking Fallen Order?
The intro FMV was great, and then I played NHL, and it's been fun. I also dropped in Warzone 2.0 for the first time, and we won the first game, so it was good.
Oh, shit.
It was good. The RPK is shredding, and it's been awesome. Haven't had that much luck after, a lot of 2s and 3s, but it's been fun. Learning your way around like a new map sucks, and then
it's the worst.
The way you have to like loot the person's backpack is weird, and like you could store
But this
stuff.
map is at least better than the last map.
Way better. Way
so
better.
much better.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Well, with that, John, would you like to let the people know? I want you to do it this week. Would you like to let the people know what we're playing on the podcast next week? It's a big one. It's a big one. We'll be teasing it for like 3 years.
Next week on the podcast, we are playing TNA Impact.
It's happening, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh, everyone was waiting for me to say cross the line after that. No, we are playing the TNA
full game.
Impact. And no, we don't have Dixie Carter. She is unreachable. I have tried my hardest. I had people trying to reach out. It just was not working. So we're just going to do it.
So we got Karen Jarrett instead. No.
Okay.
All right. YouTube.com/GameMarksPodcast for our weekly playthrough videos, exclusive content, and a whole lot more, including this week and every other week's playthrough video. GameMarksPod.com/shop for all of our exclusive merchandise. ProWrestlingTees.com for our new shirt designs. Patreon.com for this show, early and ad-free, at GameMarksPod on all forms of social media. And make sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell.
First one of the new year.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget, we got a contest going on. Leave us a 5-star review on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you have a product or service that you'd like to advertise on this podcast, please reach out to us at GameMarksPod@gmail.com. Coming out swinging for 2023. Banger after banger, and we've only done 2 new episodes. Mick Foley, TNA, let's go. Johnny Clash, do that thing, man.
Game over. Marks.
Game Marks Podcast, put them on the radar. Playing rare games, Sega Saturn, no Game Shark. Johnny and George work hard and they play hard. Future endeavor games and put them in the graveyard. From the deep dive to the clash at the feast. How can I get more? That's question of the week. Follow on Twitch, there's nothing that they won't play. Game Marks Podcast every single Monday.